A flowchart can be used to represent an algorithm. In the flowchart, there are three different types of boxes. There are the ovals, which tell you where to start and finish the algorithm. There are rectangles, which give you instructions on what to do. And there are diamond-shaped boxes, which ask you questions. All these boxes are linked by arrowed lines, and after each question you will have options of which direction to go in based on a yes or no answer. We often use what we call a trace table to store our results in as we work through a flowchart. We're going to work through this flowchart now, starting with a value of a equals 8. So, if we begin with a value of a equals 8, so we have inputted a and we're going to let b equal 1. Following our arrowed lines, the next instruction tells us that c is a divided by b. So a divided by b is 8. We then follow on to our first question in the flowchart, and it says, is c an integer? Now our current value of c is 8, which is an integer, so I'm going to put just a y because we're answering yes to that question, and it says print b. So we're going to write down what b is at the moment. On to our next question. It says, is a equal to b? And it's not, so the answer is no, so I'm just going to write an n for no. If we follow this arrow back up, it takes us up to the instruction that b is now equal to b plus 1. So we take our current value of b and we add 1 to it. So b is now 2. Right, we are now continuing around the loop in our flowchart. So we follow the arrows back and we now go to c equals a divided by b. Now, our value of a has not changed, so we could just keep it filled in so that our value of a remains constant on our next line in our trace table. Okay, c equals a divided by b, so that gives us a value of 4. Is c an integer? Yes. Then print b. Is a equal to b? No. And so our cycle begins again. So a does not change, but b equals b plus 1. C equals a divided by b. Now we get an answer here. I'm just going to round my answer to one decimal place of 2.7. But we now get to the question, is c an integer? And this time it is not an integer, so no. So we follow along and we go round to b equals b plus 1 again. So we add 1 to our value of b. C equals a divided by b. So the answer there is 2. Is c an integer? Yes. So print b. So I'm going to print that value of 4. Is a equal to b? No. We carry on. B equals b plus 1. So we add 1 to our value of b. Okay. Onwards, our next value of c is 1.6. It is not an integer, So we carry on, we follow our line round, and b is b plus 1. Right, again, I'm just going to round to 1 decimal place, our value of c there. Again, it's not an integer, so we're going to carry round our cycle again. Now, in an exam question, your trace table would be more than adequate to fill in all the lines of information that you might need to put in. But I've run out of space, so I'm going to continue where I was up to on this blank table. Now, I was adding 1 to my current value of b, which means b is now 7. My value of a has not changed in this entire flowchart algorithm. So, c equals a divided by b, which again I'm just going to round to 1 decimal place. Is c an integer? No. So again, around I go again. b is now 8. c equals 1. c is an integer. So I'm going to print my value of b. Is a equal to b? The answer is now yes. And so I finally get to the end and I stop my algorithm. Now, quite often in an exam question, you might be asked to explain what the flowchart and algorithm has done. Normally this will be quite simple in terms of you should be able to see what has happened in your algorithm. We started here with a value of a equals to 8, and the values that we printed in our trace table were 1, 2, 4 and 8. Now I hope we would notice here that this flowchart algorithm has printed the factors of 8. So this algorithm gives us the factors of a, whatever we start our value of a with.